Hey y'all, welcome back. So we're gonna finish out the chicken coop today, hopefully if we have time. So the next step is gonna be finishing up the walls. So we'll go with the tractor and pick those up from the garage like we did these, and then get this whole section framed out. Once that's done, we'll put the gable on that end of it, and then after that it should just be rafters, trusses, and things like that. So we'll see how far we can get today. I did hear back from the manufacturer about the screen for those two openings that we weren't sure about. And it turns out that there's actually, since we have the brooder basement on this coop, there are actually two doors that go in those openings. So those screens should fit the doors. If you don't have the brooder basement on this coop, then they would have sent those other screens that fit the opening as they sit. But we have the basement. So hopefully when we get to that point, we'll have everything that we need. I feel like the instructions should have mentioned something about that in telling you, hey, if you have the basement, then, you know, see step whatever. But that didn't happen, so that's fine. But I'm gonna grab the tractor and head to the garage and pick up these wall sections, and we'll get started. Okay, y'all, so we're done getting the walls put up. So this is what we have. I don't know if you could tell or not, but I was having a little bit of trouble getting some of these sections to line up properly. The construction of them is okay. I mean, we're working with wood, so things aren't going to be perfect every time. But like, for instance, if you look down here at this joint here, this rail, this bottom rail on this wall here is actually torqued this way on the bottom of this, at the bottom here. I don't know if you can tell. You might be able to see it a little better on the inside here, because this is flush, and you see it's flush at the top here, but it kicks out this way. So that was kind of annoying. This whole wall actually was warped and kind of twists this way. So the top rail is obviously going to wind up getting fixed when we put rafters on, because it'll be fixed at a specific location relative to this wall, so everything will square up on the top. The bottom is not really going to be held by itself, but if you remember, we left some of these holes open to be able to put some rebar in. So those things will help hold it in place. And thankfully, I went every 6 feet. So we have one right at this joint on this wall. The block is all level, but there must be some warping or squaring issues with the wall sections, because you can see this section right here doesn't actually touch the ground. I'm hoping once we get a little bit of weight on there with the rafters, trusses, and roofing material, that that'll kind of settle into place where it should be. But if not, we are, like I said, gonna put that pin, that rebar in the ground and secure that wall to it. So that should take care of that issue regardless. But it would be nice if these were, you know, squared up better. So anyway, that's where we sit. Everything went together pretty well, but we did have that issue with a few of these. This top rail on this one, this board is warped as well, which again, we're working with wood, so that's, you know, gonna happen. But this side was perfectly fine. It was nice and square, and then this top rail was twisted. So it's nothing that's going to affect the structural integrity of it. It just affects aesthetics, and I'm a big aesthetics person, so that really kind of irritates me sometimes when things don't line up perfectly. But aside from me building this whole thing myself, designing, constructing, cutting all the pieces, all that, you know, I kind of got to deal with what I've got. But overall, I like the coop itself. It is going together fairly quickly, despite those small issues. So, you know, you gotta kind of got to weigh what's important to you. And in this instance, not having to do all of the design and construction and all that myself, and having some of these pieces be prefabricated, and just being able to, you know, throw them together, screw them together, and be done with it was well worth the you know, small misalignments that we have here. So you'll just kind of have to weigh that for yourself. But overall, build quality is pretty good, and you know, just a couple alignment issues that we should be able to fix mostly. Next thing is going to be to get this gable on and then get the siding on that gable. So I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of, and we'll move on from there. Hey y'all, back out here on the coop today. So I'm gonna start working on this roof again. So I'm gonna try to get the rest of these rafters set in place and anchored down. And then after that, I'm not sure what exactly comes next. We'll have to take a look at the assembly instructions and see. But I believe it's gonna be trusses and then roofing, and then we'll work on some of the rest of it. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started, see what we can get done today. All right, y'all, so I'm about halfway done getting the purlins on the roof, and I gotta say, I'm not very pleased with the quality of nails that they've sent with this coop. So I've been having issues with a lot of them bending. I mean, like 1 out of every probably 4 or 5 nails that I'm driving in are bending. And like, I may not be professional framer skill with a hammer, but I'm not that bad. And so I took a look at some of them, and a bunch of them already have a bend, like a curve in them. So, you know, they kind of do this number. And so as soon as you get a good whack on it with a hammer, it just bends it straight over. And so I'm getting really irritated with it. So I'm gonna stop working on the roof right now. And one thing I've been wanting for a really long time is a framing nailer. And so I'm just gonna go get one here in a little bit. It'll speed up the process a ton because I won't have to nail them in by hand, and I won't have to deal with these crappy nails anymore. So instead of buying just regular nails, I'm gonna go ahead and get the framing nailer I've been wanting and pick up some nails for that. And that should cut this time down at least in half, if not even more, just being able to use that. So instead of working on the roof right now, I'm gonna start building the egg hutch. And so let me grab the instruction book for that. So this is what the egg hutch is gonna look like. And you know, since it has its own little manual and we actually assemble it before we install it on the coop, that's something I can do in the meantime. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on that. y'all. So I wasn't able to get the roof finished up yesterday, unfortunately. It started raining on my way home from picking Sadie up from schools, and it rained pretty much the rest of the day. So we're kind of right where we were yesterday. I'm gonna get started on the roof again today and try and get that finished up. I was hoping to get the roof on before it rained at all, because as you can see, we've got a lot of mud that's splashed up onto the coop, and I was trying to kind of prevent that. But you know, we can only do what we can do. So I'm gonna have to clean all that off at some point, but I'm gonna get the roof on first before I worry about cleaning anything, in case it rains again. I don't want to have to clean it more than once. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this roof again. Hey y'all, so I've got half of the roof on, and I'm going to show you just a couple things that I've noticed. So on this side, they want you to start with the end of the purlin centered up on this rib. Now it moved a little bit when I was screwing it in, so it's not quite perfect, but it's only, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 inch off, 1/2 inch at that. And then, you know, you put all these panels on, and then this side is supposed to line up the same way. So it's supposed to end with the purlin half of this rib. Now we are a couple inches off here. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. Seems to me that they should have made these purlins just a little bit longer to account for that, but that's kind of irritating. Since it doesn't match on each side. But the other thing that we're going to have to do because of that is we started on that end coming this way for the first side, but on this side they want us to start on this end and go that way. And then to do that, they tell you again to start it with the end of this purlin centered on the end rib. But I don't want these things to be offset, so what I'm going to do is just measure out how far off we are right here, and then I'll match that on this one. And that way everything should hopefully line up on the way back. So obviously we have the same number of panels. The panels are all the exact same size. So hopefully if I overhang that end, then when I get down here, this one will match up as well. But overall, it's going together pretty well. The top hardware mesh up there, they did tell you, or the instructions say just to bend it and lay it up there and that it'll get fastened down with the roofing. But there's no way that that's gonna stay in place easily and you know, work out really well that way. So I went ahead and stapled it in. It also didn't fit properly. So they tell you to make it even with the gable, flush it with the outside of the gable here, which is what I did. And then on this first joint, they want you to overlap it by 1.5 inches, which I did. Those are, it's 1/2 inch hardware mesh, so 3 of those squares is 1.5 inches. So I overlaid it by 1.5 inches there, and then when I got to the end down here, I set that one in place and it looked like it was short, and I came over here and it was pretty short considering where it was supposed to be. And so I had to take one of the staples out over here and make it even and just kind of butt them up next to each other. And so I just added a few staples in there just to make sure nothing can get under there. This is going to have a ridge cap on it, so nothing should be able to get up under there anyway. But just to be sure, I went ahead and stapled it multiple times on that joint to make sure that it all stayed together. So that's where we are right now. I'm going to go ahead and finish up so that this whole ground area is going to be covered up when we get more rain, and hopefully it won't get any more dirty than it already is. right, y'all, so we just got the roof done. I think it looks good. I like the contrast of the black and white. I think it's gonna look really nice out here. We got a little bit of work to do. Probably gonna take at least another day, if not two, but we'll get back on it here pretty shortly. Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we're gonna start with working on the hen house here. So we're gonna finish getting this thing framed out and closed in and all that. And then if we get all of that done, then I'm gonna come over here to the run area and get all this trash cleaned up, and then I'm gonna throw some leaf litter in there from the woods. So, we've got obviously plenty of leaves down in the woods, and I would like at some point over the next few years probably for this to turn into topsoil. With the Coop kit, they sent some straw that we can throw down there as well. And then in the brooder inside where the chickens are right now, we've got some pine flake, and we've got a whole bunch of that left over. I just bought one bale of it from Tractor Supply, and it's packed in the bag so tight there's a lot more than what it actually looks like. So we've got tons of that left over. So I'll probably throw the rest of that in here as well. And hopefully over time, with them stomping on it and pecking at it and pooping in it and all that kind of stuff, over time it will wind up turning this clay into some topsoil. So that's kind of the plan for today, and let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, y'all, so there's one other thing that I forgot that I need to do before I get this floor put in, and that is get these anchor pins put into place. So I don't know if you remember, I was planning on putting some anchors in the ground right here in a couple different spots. So I'm going to go ahead and do that before I get this floor in here, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to do it afterwards. All right, y'all, so I finished getting these 2x4s in the bottom. So you can see right there, I anchored the rebar to the chicken coop the same way that we did the play set. If you watched those videos, if not, go back and take a look at them. So we did one on that corner and one in this corner, and then I went ahead and anchored this 2x4 into the ground on top of these blocks. And I did both sides as well. I haven't gotten all the way down, but I got far enough to be able to work on this hen house. Y'all, so we have a little problem with our egg hutch. It's got a crack in it. When I ran the screw in to fasten it up here, this piece of the frame actually cracked, and so I'm going to try to fix it. And my plan here is to drip some glue down in this crack as best I can. It's not that wide, but I'm just gonna pour some down there. And then I've got a small screw that I'm going to drive through it and pull that crack together. So once I get the glue in there, I'm going to take this screw out so this can close up, and then I'll drive this screw in there, let it set for a little while, and then we'll put it back together. So I'm just going to let that sit and dry for just a little bit, and I guess we'll probably just go ahead and start building the hutch door while that dries, and then once it's dry we'll come back and put this thing back together and get the door on and all that stuff. So let's get the door built. So I guess the next thing that we're going to work on is I'm going to go ahead and start putting this hardware mesh up. I was going to get the Dutch door put in, but Sadie really wants to be out here when I'm working on that, so she's taking a nap right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start working on this hardware mesh. Alright y'all, so I finally figured out where the brooder basement wall is, and it is in my garage, still unpainted. So yet again, one more piece that they didn't put any number on or any kind of label, and there's nothing in the instructions about it. So I thought where it was packaged, the way it was in the pallet, I thought it was just supporting other pieces. Thankfully I kept it for the lumber because it was good lumber, but apparently that's actually a part of the coop. So I'm not going to be able to get that put in today. We're going to have to stain that and all that before we get it in. But what I am going to work on is the doors for the brooder basement on the inside and these two doors on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and throw those together. They're just going to get screen and hinges and latches. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that taken care of. We are almost done with this coop. I'm going to give you a quick walk around and just kind of show you what we've gotten done so far. So everything on the back side we just got done with the, those brooder basement doors. Got all the doors on the hen house. We've got all the screen in finally. That took forever, stapling all that stuff in. This is the only thing that I have to do before we can put chickens out here is get this door closed up. That's our free range door. So if we decide to let them out to free range, we can use that. We've got an automatic door that Lindsay got that is going to go there. So it'll open up and close automatically if we decide to let them free range for, you know, part of the day and stuff. But we got all the screen in on all the sides, and then we got our Dutch door installed last night. Finished it up after dark, had some work lights out here so I didn't record that, but finally got that done. It looks really good. I think the contrast of the white and pink looks good. Lindsay loves it. The girls absolutely love it. So that was a win. And then we've got the window in on this side. The only thing that I need to put on is that right there. That would be the egg hutch. But I don't have to have that on before we can let the chickens out here because I don't have the ladder up to the hen house installed yet. The other thing that we have to do is the brooder basement wall on the inside. I'll just have to get that in at some point. But that's where we are right now. So got just a little bit more to do and this thing will be completely done. So I'll see you guys when it's finished. Hey y'all, well, it's just about dark out here, but I finally got this egg hutch put on, so I kind of wanted to show you how I did it. I did it by myself, and I just wanted to show you what method I used. So inside you can see I've got some clamps on here. One of them I've already moved because I couldn't see the screw hole. So I've got these two. I had two on that side as well. But before I got to that point, I had to get it up into place. And so to do that, I used a couple clamps. So I had those 3-foot clamps. I put them on some 2x4s just to make sure I would have the distance I needed in to just kind of stabilize them in this gravel. And then I got them close to where they needed to be, where they'd be just a little bit lower than what I wanted. And I just kind of rested them up against the chicken coop. And then just muscled this thing into place. It's pretty heavy for how small it is. It doesn't look like it would be as heavy as it is, but it definitely is. So I just kind of muscled it into place, grabbed one of the clamps and set it on the 2x4 and then propped it up underneath there and just expanded it until we got it snug up against that flashing up there. And so once I got one side, then I came over here, or once I got that one support on, I went ahead and clamped it on the inside right here. And then on this side, once I had that side secured and held well, I came over here and put this clamp in place and expanded it up, got it where it needed to be, and clamped off the bottom there. And once I got those in place, then I was able to come inside and put the ones on the top here, and was able to get those in place before I started screwing things together. So then once I got everything held, then you just use these holes right here, and there's a few of them there that are open for your screw holes or for your screw heads, and so you just run the screws in and it's all done. So I just wanted to show you guys that real quick before I broke everything down and took all the clamps off, just so you could see it. And then next thing we got to do is just stain that other brooder wall or brooder basement wall and get that installed and get the little ladder on the inside, and everything will be done. I did go ahead and get this automatic free range door put on, so I'll just kind of show you that real quick. I'm just going to leave it closed for now. I don't think we're going to free range right away. So it's there in case we decide to, and you can program it for what time you want it to open and close and things like that. And apparently the chickens will just kind of learn that and adapt to it. And so that's nice to make sure that everything gets closed up. You don't have to come out here at night and manually open and close a door and all that stuff. We're trying to make this thing as maintenance free as possible. I don't want to have to be out here every single day doing something with the chickens. I want to be able to just kind of set it and forget it, and come out here every few days, once a week, whatever, and fill up feeders, fill up water, check on everything. But I don't want to have to actually come out here and work every single day on the chickens. So that's kind of what these things are for. We've got a feed hopper and a water hopper in the garage. So once I get those installed out here, I'll kind of show you what those are and how they work and how all that functions. But as for right now, I think I'm going to call it quits for the night and clean up, go inside, and spend some time with the family. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Hey y'all, so I got this thing completely finished up. It's been out here for a couple weeks now, and just kind of wanted to show you how everything looks when it's completely done. I've got the brooder basement wall in there. I went ahead and got all the leaf litter and straw put down. We've got our water and feed silos in there. So I'm just gonna kind of give you a little rundown real quick. So these are our feed and water silos, and I'll be doing a video on those shortly, so stay tuned and check that out. But this one is our feed, that one's our water. Holds 32 pounds of feed, I believe, 32, 35, something like that. And then the water silo holds 7 gallons of water. So we've got the floor covering in there. And then here's our brooder basement wall. So we've got the wall in there. It's got doors on it on the inside and the outside, which is nice. So if we were to get some more chickens and had to separate them for a little bit so that they can acclimate, then we can easily get to them from the inside or the outside. We can use these doors back here so that we don't have to actually go into the coop and disturb all the other chickens. I did put some little latches or some pins on all the doors just to keep two things: keep our kids from opening the doors because they love to come out here and try to get into the coop, but also raccoons and stuff are pretty smart, so that'll help keep them out of there as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you can get notified when we post new videos, and we will see you guys on the next one.